Okay, second grade, I want you to stretch your brains back to lesson 5 when we were looking at words and illustrations to help us gain important information about characters. Well, guess what? We're going to do that thinking work again today. We're going to take it a little bit deeper. In lesson 5, we created character statements based on the words and illustrations that we saw. Today, our learning target is I can identify which words and illustrations from the story helped me to demonstrate an understanding of characters. So today we're going to be looking at which words and what parts of the illustration teach us about characters. Let's get started. So as we're thinking about characters, it's important that we look at both the words and illustrations so that we can learn everything the author wants us to know about the character. We do this by asking ourselves some questions. What do the words say about the character? What do the illustrations show about the character? And then we put those two things together and think, what does that tell me about the kind of person this character is? Readers need to keep track of their thinking. So one way that you can do that is to make a T-chart. We've been using T-charts a lot during this unit, so I know you're an expert at it by now. For this T-chart, I want you to label one side words and one side illustrations. This is where we're going to jot down what the words say about a character and what the illustrations show so that we can create a character statement to tell what kind of person the character is. Let's do a close rereading of some of the pages from Teacher's Pets so we can think about Miss Fry and the kind of person that she is. Let's read this page. It's 151 in your Journeys text. You can pause the video and find it so that you can read along, or you can just read along with me on the slide. Ready? Let's read. She sprinkled corn in Red's dish and locked the door and went home to her quiet little house. On Tuesday, Winston told Miss Fry, "The neighbors wonder if Red can stay at school for a while." "Of course," said Miss Fry. "How lucky for us." Okay, time to stop and think. What do the words say about the character? Well, there's a lot of things I could write that the words say about the character, but I'm going to pick the one that I found was most interesting and most important. The words told me that she sprinkled corn in Red's dish. So I wrote that on my T-chart, sprinkled corn in Red's dish. Now I'm going to think, what do the illustrations show about the character? So I look carefully at the character in the illustration and I notice that there's a smile on Miss Fry's face. I want to write that down because I think that's going to be important in teaching me about who Miss Fry is. So I wrote smile on her face on my illustrations part of my T-chart. Now let's take a look at page 153. If you're in your Journeys text, just turn the page to this page. Or you can just read along with me on the slide. Here we go. But that afternoon, after all the children had left, there was Vincent sitting in his jar on Miss Fry's desk. She gave Vincent a big, juicy bug, sprinkled corn in Red's dish, and then locked the door and went home to her quiet little house. It's time for you to try this out. I want you to think, what do the words say about the character? And pick something that the words said about Miss Fry that you think is important when we think about who she is. Then I want you to think, what do the illustrations show about the character? And pick something from the illustration that you notice that shows you something about Miss Fry. Then I want you to go to the next Nearpod slide and record what it is that you found.